What's going on? Motherfuck me. I'm Eli Jennings. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me again. So today I actually wanted to do something a little bit different, and this video actually I'm gonna go over my story a little bit, and I'll keep it brief. I'm not gonna be too self-indulgent, but as the title of the video says, you know, dear young men struggling with depression. And I mean, for many a reason, depression, especially amongst young people, is more prevalent right now than it's ever been. And the reason I'm interested in aiming this video in particular towards, you know, my young brothers out there is like, I think so much of what leads into depression and leads into addiction is different for men and women. And I think there's some underlying themes that, you know, we can relate to across the board as men. And so into this video, I'm gonna have just three suggestions for you, all three real quick. And, you know, I hope you get something out of it. So anyway, first time I went to rehab was in March of 2019. I was in some legal trouble in Richmond at the time. I had a few pending felonies, all like larceny and I guess a number of other things. But a judge had told me at one point, because my parents have been trying to get me to go to rehab for a little bit. You know, I definitely had a problem that was ongoing. And there was this place in Asheville that they were really like adamant could like benefit me. And so, you know, that time I'm about 20. I've been, you know, I'm still a little bit newer into like the game and all the like heavy drugs and shit. And I'm like, fuck no, like I don't need to go to rehab. Amy Winehouse up in here. But then I went and saw a judge at a court date, and the judge essentially told me, you can go sit in jail and, you know, wait for the rest of your court dates while we sort this out, or, you know, you can go to this rehab in Asheville, North Carolina. And I said, Asheville, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, I've heard it's beautiful this time of year. You know, I'm dying to be there. You know, let me get the hell out of here. So anyway, that was sort of how that was the form that my depression had taken. Because at that point, I had dropped out of college for the first time and was really just lost in life. I did long distance the first year of college with a girl I'd been dating in high school. Wonderful person. And when that ended, and when I really lost who I felt like I was, you know, the plan had always been, okay, like, Eli, you know, you go to school, you do well, you work hard, you know, and then like college is just the next step. But for me, that wasn't going to be the case. And so from there, it's been a real process for me. You know, I've been to rehab 4 times in total. I've been in and out of legal trouble in different places. And, you know, it's just a process. It's just about growth. But, you know, what I want to talk about is the depression specifically, because that to me was the root, that was the cause. There was so much going on when I was 20 years old, sitting down, and I was just so frightened of the world. You know, I had no idea who I was. And, you know, I don't think that's an uncommon position for young men to be finding ourselves in today. You know, at the time, I believed I was terminally unique, but that's just not the case. And so, really, the 3 things I want to go over are this. And this was what brought me out. This was, and again, it's taken years, and there's been lots of fuck-ups, and I'm still in a position where there's a lot I have to continue to navigate. But I do feel, sitting here before you today, that I have contended with my depression, and I've molded myself into something different. I've used it for my benefit, and, you know, what I'd like to do is hopefully equip you to do the same thing. And the biggest place it starts, and I know this shit sounds corny, but we'll build from here, so stay with me. But the biggest place it starts, you know, when I was in the deepest depression of my life, this would have been the summer of 2018, so about a year before I went to rehab. I was cycling through all these different medications. You know, if you're familiar with antidepressants, SSRIs, it takes a little while to figure out, you know, if they're gonna work for you. And for whatever reason, with my body, my composition, SSRIs do not work for me. You know those commercials where it's always like the last side effect is like, thoughts of suicide may occur. And it's like, well, that's seems a little intense, but suicidal ideation is a very, very real thing. And it's important that if you're gonna go the medical route, to look into all the different effects. And so why do I say gratitude? Well, that whole summer, the only time I got out of bed, my mom would come into my room every day and be like, look, we're gonna walk around the neighborhood. You're gonna write down 5 things you're grateful for, and then you can go back to bed. Every single day. That was the only damn thing I did. And she would always repeat, she would say this constantly: gratitude is the way out. Gratitude is the way out. Gratitude is the way out. And so now I'm in a position where it's become so ingrained in me that, like, I have pages and pages and pages. Not all of these are gratitude lists, but I lock it in. I do 5 a day. Keep it short, keep it simple, but it really, really, really equips you to then engage with life differently, because the fact of the matter is any of us can get a phone call at any point, and your life will change forever. So, taking time today to be grateful for your health, or be grateful for your family's health, or to, reflect on your friendships, or the things that you're proud of that you've accomplished. I mean, all this stuff that we just take for granted, all of it's temporary. And so being grateful for it while you have it is a powerful, powerful place to start. I am not trying to, rah motivate. I'm not saying that, you need to frame the shit or cross stitch it on some pillow. But if you will fucking get a notebook and just write 5 things a day, especially the days you don't feel like it, not only will it slowly integrate into your thinking, you'll have this whole treasure trove you can look back on. Shit. And that's been really powerful for me. So that's the first thing, gratitude. The second thing is humility. Okay. And again, I know that's a very, a lot of people just say that shit, hashtag humble, whatever else. But what humility really means is you're willing to walk on this earth in a way that is somewhat meek, almost. And meek is another word that it's become very diluted. The connotation is different. But if you look at what the word meek meant, specifically during biblical times, that is a strong person. That is somebody you want on your side. That is somebody you want to be able to engage with in a way where it's not adversarial, because someone who's meek understands the world. And there's a certain calmness to them. You can tell by the way people speak. And so to have the humility is a big, big piece in order to escape the depression, in order to self-actualize, and really not even escape the depression, to move through the depression. And humility starts with admitting that you're struggling. And I get that that's fucking hard, man. I get it. Especially, depending on how you grew up, depending on what you saw, depending on what you were involved with, a big part of being a man, we're taught, is handle your shit. Figure it the fuck out. And don't let anybody know you got a problem. But, man, that gets lonely. And on top of that, you miss out on I spent years missing out, trying to hide the shit I was dealing with, trying to, front some type of way, make people think this, that, or whatever. But, oh, man. To have the humility to, look into the eyes of another man and be like, hey, I'm really fucking struggling here. I am really having a difficult time. That is going to open up a whole world of possibility that you are not currently experiencing, because when your stuff is locked inside your own head, and I would, this might not be true of everybody, but I would wager to guess that most people watching this have not been to therapy, at least extensively, and are not actively writing out the stuff that's going on inside your head. And so part of humility, part of admitting that, you're really struggling, not only opening up to some people in your life, but then turning around to take action and to get help. Because, man, engaging in therapy, that's one of the most courageous things there is. And I'm being for real about that, because it is very, very difficult to sit down, not only to sit down, to pay some motherfucker to sit down, and just go over your shit. But in doing that, because it takes a real humility to do that, because sitting down to engage in therapy, especially genuine therapy, it's just a process of overcoming. It's a process of stepping back from the situation and looking at it wholly and understanding the way you view the world, like it could be improved. It can be improved. And in order to have that humility to reach out, like whatever it feels like to you right now, whatever you're worried about might happen if the people in your life know that you're struggling, man, I can't even express to you the benefits of walking through that shit. You just gonna have to find out for yourself. But I've been to too many damn funerals of, suicides and overdoses, and everybody always says the same thing. It's like, why didn't he say something? Why? Like questions like that, they never really leave you. But I can tell you right now, sitting where you're sitting, alive and goddamn well enough, you have it within you to be more than you are, and to ensure that nobody's ever saying that about you, because to be a man is to stand up and contend with reality. So the third thing I want to talk about is patience. Okay, widen your scope. I'm being very serious, because chances are, if you're grappling with depression, if you're struggling, if you're watching this, teenager, early 20s, whatever it might be, widen your scope, bro. Because holy fucking shit, and especially being a man. Because listen, we don't have to deal with a biological time clock. There's no rush. If you're 23 right now, you can take the next 10 years and do nothing but fuck up, and you're still young. Okay? I'm not saying that's what you should do, but I'm saying there is so much pressure within our culture to be successful now, to have it figured out now. What I'm saying is this: if you put your head down and understand, okay, right now, not only am I not everything I could be, I'm actively struggling. I feel like I'm lagging behind. I'm running on empty. If that's where you're at, man, like, what the fuck do you got to lose? I'm serious. Because with gratitude and with humility, you are going to be able to engage with your life and make plans and build a direction. Because in order to, and man, I got so much stuff I want to talk about with, just the men here. I'm not going, if you're, women are welcome to watch it, but I'm telling you, there is so much that the world has not told us about what it means to be a man today. And I just really, really ask you, if you find yourself struggling with mental health, if anxiety and depression are driving you into these corners, if you're losing friendships, if you're uncertain of what to do, if you feel like you'll never be able to get that job or graduate college or get that girl or find, have your parents be proud of you, whatever the fuck it is, man, I'm telling you, there's a way out. And I don't ever mean to be too serious, but this is something I'm really passionate about. And, I've definitely lost people over the years, and, I lost myself in some ways. And I'm very, very fortunate to be sitting here before you today. And really, that's my life's work in a lot of ways, I think, is to use this shit and to go do something with it. So, man, I'm really excited to be here. I'm really grateful to sort of be in this position, starting this channel, and for everybody who's watching, seriously, thank you. This life you are living has meaning. Don't you fucking forget it, all right? I'll see you next time.